Ever wonder what it takes to live a life creatively? So do we. That's why we're here, to find out what clever people do to succeed in the arts, business, and education. I'm Cecily Korst, and this is the Trailer Talks. We're interviewing artists and educators, musicians, and thought leaders, at home and on the road. So come on, it's going to be a good trip. Hey, welcome to the trailer. Come on in.
So my life's been about a lot of creativity, but also a lot of learning. It's been about, I've been a teacher longer than I ever thought. And so I've been trying to help people find a way that they can live more comfortably than just creatively.
Yeah, right.
Creatively.
Right. So, actually, reading your resume is like jaw-dropping, pretty much. It's amazing the depth and the breadth of your career. Can you describe So far. Can you describe the journey thus far?
It's really hard to describe. I'm a late starter, so that I did a lot of prep work from age 1 through about 27. And at 27, I was living in one room in Hollywood, painting houses, and at 28 I was on tour with a band. So all of a sudden things started to happen, but it was a long time coming. And people were very worried. Part of my role as the chair of this photo department is about giving some patience to this process, and not thinking that life is such a big race, because truly at 27 I didn't have a lot of options, and at 28 things started to roll along pretty quickly, and have continued to do so till now. It's hard for me to look back because I'm looking forward with much more deliberation. Become much more important at this age. Now I've finally reached an age where people actually listen to me. For the first 3 years now, people actually listen to what I say, and I don't have to listen to bullshit anymore. I don't have time. So I'm really not looking back so carefully, but really looking at what will I do next. My resume doesn't read like everybody else's. It's not a step-by-step path to get to where I am. It is the circuitous route, and I don't advise that for others, though I do recognize that in some people, especially my students, who we live in a time right now that we're not supporting wandering anymore. We're not supporting meandering and a sense of discovery.
So what do you view as your responsibilities to your students?
My biggest responsibility is to introduce people to themselves, because as they want to be something else, that often doesn't work. If you listen to your church or your parents or the politicians, if you have a life that doesn't work for you, you have nobody else to blame but yourself. If you spend your time trying to figure out who you are and what it is that you might really like to do, I think you have a 100% chance of getting there. But if you listen to other people, everything that people told me didn't work. All it did was make it more clear that I wasn't like everybody else. My students are not like anybody else. People that decide to have a a life in art, not even a career, but a life in art, are making some pretty bold declarations about themselves without any evidence. So at 12, 13, as we see people with some small amount of talent on television thinking that they're going to be artists or musicians or singers or actors, it's more likely they won't be. As people spend more time developing a more individualized plan, there's a much better chance of them actually becoming that, and of them finding out what it is that they want to do rather than becoming a standardized version of what we think a career in the arts looks like. The big question that I'm left with thinking about and attempting to answer is, how will we educate people to be smarter? Not more academically prepared, but how will we use this institution of education to really encourage wisdom? How will we set the goal to a place where people are lifelong learners, and through this institution they feel supported in change and supported in growth and supported in finding new resources to learn new things.
But can any organization ever do that?
And can any organization ever do that?
And is it a difference between gathering knowledge and then applying it, or or learning and then being able to think differently?
It would be a profound change in the society to encourage that. You would see new careers. You'd see new people, new ways that people create families, new ways that people have jobs, new ways that people encourage their children to learn. But I do think that it's possible. I do think that it starts with one person doing it, because I think that people are very afraid to create a new kind of school because of how will those graduates fit into a society that's actually becoming more narrow, more formed, more secure for the people that already have jobs in this. But a school that didn't have walls, that didn't have time limits, didn't have such a narrow kind of formalized curriculum, would prepare people for a real future. The real future that's coming will be much more of a global conglomeration of cultures, rather than a dominant culture and lots of minority cultures. World's getting smaller. We're running out of resources to hoard. We're running out of things to be best at. Best for us to figure out how we can align with things and better those things than be better ourselves.
I love it. Hey, thanks very much for spending time with us.
You got to do this again, because this was just practice.